there's a lot of uncertainty still. I think where markets are trying to grasp in terms of positivity is that there is at least a little bit of sign of, I wouldn't say flattening the curve, but at least the let's put it crudely, the rate of deaths, for instance, is slowing down in some places. There is signs that the curve may be about to flatten in places such as New York, New Jersey, Italy, France, for instance. And I think this is, at least on the virus front, leading to some more optimism that the lockdowns may not need to persist for a prolonged period of time. Now, it's very, very early days. And as you mentioned, the economic news is still getting worse, as we saw last week, and I think that will continue this week. So I think it's going to be a real battle in the days ahead between poor economic data and hopes of some sort of flattening of the curve in countries in Europe and in the US, for instance.
Yes, and any sign of a slowdown in these cases is welcome news, just given how horrific some of the tallies have been already. But as you mentioned, I mean, there's also optimism due to expectations of further stimulus. Emily just walked us through a targeted move from the PBOC with RRR cuts once again, but also we're waiting more stimulus right here in Singapore and Japan. So give us your outlook in terms of how you're playing the emerging market basket in anticipation of these moves.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. I mean, clearly we've had huge stimulus globally, both on the fiscal and monetary front. And emerging markets have also been in amongst this in terms of adding stimulus. As you mentioned, Singapore is going to add more, even though they've added substantial stimulus in two packages already. I think the problem for emerging markets, however, is that the growth hit could end up being fairly significant. Even China, where we're seeing an opening on the supply side, and as you mentioned, China cut its RRR at the end of last week. But the problem is for China that even if supply side conditions open up, demand side could really start to come under a huge amount of pressure in the weeks and months ahead, especially when we see demand from the G10, particularly US and Europe, start to slow down. It won't just hit China, it will hit a lot of emerging markets already suffering from lower commodity prices and obviously the supply side restrictions. All they really need to compound this is weakness on demand side. So I'm still very concerned about the emerging market outlook, especially as well given the health sector. And, health sector is going to be a big issue given that the capacity to deal with virus cases in a lot of emerging markets is far less than we're seeing in the G10 countries.
Hi, I'm Emily Tan, and thanks for watching CNBC. You can check out more of our videos by clicking on the boxes on the screen, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more. Thanks for watching.